being active and playing 4 games and then not, and like not feeling the best, and then like frustrated of like how hard I worked in the off season, and then like all I do is rehab and like continue to do this process and just like trying to trust that the best I can. And obviously there's really frustrating days, and there's days where like it's a little bit easier and like you're very, very motivated and like you're close to the finish line of getting back and being back, and then like it's not like I have a training camp to like build up to like playing my first game again. It's like, no, like you're tossed into game 30. Like,
imagine the WNBA waking up to find out their biggest star might have an expiration date stamped on her jersey, and it says 2026. Yep, experts are whispering doomsday predictions for Caitlin Clark's career, and the league is acting like someone just told them coffee is canceled. From jaw-dropping theories to wild insider gossip, this isn't just sports news. It's pure chaos wrapped in basketball shorts. Buckle up, because this story might be crazier than the final buzzer in triple overtime.
If everyone can stop the pearl clutching for just a minute, and I say that as a turn of phrase, not because it's women's basketball, you'd realize this is the best thing imaginable for this league. And listen, I said this back when Caitlin was at Iowa, and everyone was, I thought, being overly protective of her, and I thought a lot of that had to do with like, oh, this little white girl in a black sport. And I was like, man, she is a badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it.
The WNBA panic button has officially been smashed so hard it's stuck in permanent alarm mode. Not because of some groundbreaking TV deal or a record-breaking dunk. No, it's because people are realizing that the only thing keeping this league from becoming a full-on community rec league is named Caitlin Clark. You take her away, and suddenly the game looks like a bad YouTube compilation titled My First Day at Basketball Camp. The reality is simple. If Caitlin's gone, Cunningham's gone, Hull's gone, I'm gone, you're gone, and the only thing left in the stands will be Engelbert's chair and a couple of foam fingers from 1999.
This is something that do not be surprised if President Trump speaks on with that kind of audience that is protective of a Caitlin Clark and what she stands for and what she represents. And they come to a conclusion that they believe she is being unfairly treated. That is going to be a problem for the WNBA. And based on Trump's history with the NFL and him being an obvious sports fan, goes to events and stuff like that, he pays attention to this kind of stuff. I'm just warning them, watch it, because if he gets involved and that base gets involved, because somehow, some way they embrace victimhood on a part of Kate.
And let's be honest, the only reason anyone's even pretending to debate this is because we're all trying to avoid the painful truth. Caitlin Clark is out here playing high-level chess while the rest of the league is playing hungry, hungry hippos with broken marbles. It's not even fair anymore. She's out there threading impossible passes, hitting shots that make physics professors cry, while the league is busy trying to sell us the idea that Angel Reese is a must-watch star. Angel Reese, a player whose highlight reel looks like it was filmed during a half-speed shoot-around in somebody's cousin's driveway. If that's your golden ticket, congratulations, you've just won a one-way trip to irrelevance.
She is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard, all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order. And sports are best like this.
But here's the kicker. The WNBA doesn't even want to protect Clark. In fact, it feels like they've set up a secret committee whose sole mission is to make her life miserable. Step 1, hire refs who apparently moonlight as professional magicians because they keep making good basketball plays disappear. These officials have turned WNBA games into interpretive dance recitals. One minute you're watching a perfect assist, the next you're watching someone explain to Caitlin that her foul was actually a karmic penalty for being too good.
I mean, yeah, like I would have loved to win one of them, but honestly, like 2 of my most fun nights in college were after losing the national championship. Like,
yeah, fair.
We had just as much fun.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, yes, we were sad. We would have loved to win one of them. And I think I would have loved to win one of them. Not so much because like okay, yeah, like I win one of them, we get like a ring, whatever, like people celebrate. But like, honestly, I think people celebrated us just as much as they did if we, didn't win, obviously.
You could fix this, of course. You could fire every single one of these refs and replace them with traffic cones. At least cones don't blow calls. But no, instead we have Engelbert sitting up in the league office like a high school principal who thinks banning chewing gum is the solution to all problems. Which brings us to the only logical solution. Fire Engelbert. Fire her twice, just to be sure. And if Adam Silver doesn't step in to make that happen, fire Adam Silver too. At this point, just go on a firing spree until someone in charge actually understands that your league's best player is under siege from incompetence.
If everyone can stop the pearl clutching for just a minute, and I say that as a turn of phrase, not because it's women's basketball, you'd realize this is the best thing imaginable for this league. And listen, I said this back when Caitlin was at Iowa, and everyone was, I thought, being overly protective of her, and I thought a lot of that had to do with like, oh, this little white girl in a black sport. And I was like, man, she is a badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it. And
And while we're at it, let's stop pretending this is all going to magically get better. Caitlin Clark could stay in the WNBA, sure. She could grit her teeth, keep dropping 30 a night, and watch her ankles get hacked to pieces by defenders who couldn't stop a folding chair if it rolled toward the basket. But why? Why waste the prime of your career in a league that treats you like you're just another jersey number? If she went to the EuroLeague, not only would she make more money, she'd also play in an environment where refs don't need Google Maps to find the rulebook. She'd be respected, protected, paid, and most importantly, she wouldn't have to pretend that Angel Reese is her biggest rival when, in reality, that rivalry has all the competitive fire of a pillow fight. Because here's the real thing no one wants to say out loud, the WNBA's overall skill level is embarrassingly low. Sure, there are exceptions, the handful of players who can actually match Caitlin's speed, vision, and shooting touch. But the rest? Let's just say there's a reason the highlight packages on social media are 90% Caitlin Clark plays and 10% people tripping over themselves. And yet, the marketing machine is spinning so hard, they're trying to convince you that you can't miss Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. Oh yes, please. Let me rearrange my entire schedule to watch Clark casually dismantle someone who still struggles with basic shooting mechanics. Riveting.
Good news and some bad news for those who are fans of pretend basketball. For those who are desperate to see the WNBA succeed, even though this dump of a league can't seem to get the hell out of their own way. Now, the WNBA, they refer to these people as fans, but the rest of us, we prefer to call them the mainstream media. The good news is, WNBA ratings have been somewhat solid, even though Caitlin Clark has missed damn near the entire season.
The truth is, people watch the NBA or top-tier college games when they want to see real basketball. They watch the WNBA for two reasons. Caitlin Clark, and occasionally because their remote died and they're stuck on ESPN2. The league can't handle that reality, so they hide it under layers of forced hype and bad officiating. And instead of making life easier for their one true star, they've apparently decided to run her through the gauntlet until she either breaks down or walks away. Here's how this plays out. 2026 rolls around, the last year before Clark's contract gives her a chance to leave. She takes a good look around. The refs are still lost, Engelbert's still in charge, Adam Silver is still doing whatever Adam Silver does when he's not ruining the NBA All-Star game, and she decides enough is enough. She signs with a EuroLeague team that offers her twice the money, bodyguards disguised as teammates, and fans who actually appreciate watching generational talent. The kind of meltdown where even the mascots are calling in sick. The ratings will nosedive faster than an off-target Reese layup, ticket sales will crater, and suddenly those endless press releases about record-breaking growth will be replaced by awkward silence. ESPN will quietly move the WNBA back to the 3 a.m. slot after Cornhole Championships, and the only people left talking about the league will be the ones asking, hey, whatever happened to Caitlin Clark?
Playoffs, but she was eliminated, swept in 2 games. But the WNBA, man, these players have been acting like they are victims. Now, Caitlin Clark has brought a whole bunch of eyes to the WNBA. And what do these players actually do? Folks, it has gotten really, really ridiculous, man, in the WNBA, because all these players are screaming racism for the fans. Yes, they are attacking the fans.
Which brings me back to the simplest, most obvious fix that will never happen. Fire Engelbert. Fire Adam Silver. Fire every ref who thinks calling a foul on a clean block is maintaining game control. Replace them with people who understand that Caitlin Clark isn't just the face of the league, she is the league. Without her, the WNBA is just a badly lit gym filled with awkward jump shots and even more awkward marketing campaigns. But hey, maybe they'll get lucky. Maybe Caitlin will stay out of sheer loyalty or some vague sense of unfinished business. Maybe she'll decide that the challenge of dragging an entire league up to her level is worth it. When that happens, all the spin in the world won't hide the truth. The WNBA had the best thing to happen to it in decades, and they let her walk. And when the panic sets in, don't say you weren't warned. Let's picture the day Caitlin Clark leaves. The official press release drops. We wish Caitlin well on her future endeavors. Future endeavors, that's league speak for we just lost our golden goose, and now we're staring at an empty nest with the raccoon in it. You can almost hear Engelbert trying to explain on TV how this is an opportunity for new stars to emerge. Right, just like replacing LeBron with a guy who plays in church league is an opportunity for someone to shine.
And it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. We have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
The fans will be furious, of course. Social media will go nuclear. The WNBA subreddit will have more conspiracy threads than a UFO forum, all asking the same thing. Why didn't anyone protect her? And the answers will be obvious to everyone except the people in charge. It's not that hard. Stop letting refs treat her like she's a piñata at a birthday party for toddlers with baseball bats. Stop pretending Angel Reese is the LeBron of the WNBA when she's more like the reality TV contestant who got famous for one loud argument. Stop acting like skill level doesn't matter when it's the only reason anyone buys a ticket. But here's the problem. This league runs on denial like it's an energy source. And Adam Silver, he's like that substitute teacher who knows the class is out of control but decides to just put on a movie instead of fixing the problem. We'll put it on a banner and fly it over every WNBA arena until someone listens. Now, let's imagine Caitlin in Europe. She steps off the plane and instantly she's treated like royalty. Fans waving her jersey in the streets, sponsors lining up to write her check so big they need extra zeros just to fit. The referees, they're not perfect. No one is. But at least they're not trying to invent new fouls just to slow her down. And every game, she's facing teams stacked with talent because the EuroLeague isn't trying to convince you a 35% shooter is a superstar. Over there, if you can't compete, you sit down. Over here, if you can't compete, they give you a nickname and a shoe deal.
Applies to a fresh turd. These numbers without the roof from Waterloo look great. Instead of a freshly baked turd with no activity, there are definitely some flies attracted to this unbelievably bad product. In some cases, I've heard the WNBA even managed to attract a horsefly or two. But WNBA players, they are demanding million-dollar contracts, million-dollar salaries. WNBA players are demanding a larger portion of revenue. Now, notice their demands involve revenue, not profit. If the WNBA implemented a profit-sharing model, the players would be paying to...
Meanwhile, back in the WNBA, the new era kicks off without Caitlin Clark. The opening night TV ratings? Let's just say you could count the viewers on a decent-sized abacus. The highlight of the night is a banked-in three-pointer that was very obviously an accident. ESPN tries to hype it up anyway. Unbelievable. But even the commentators can't keep a straight face. Angel Reese is still out here flexing after layups that took 4 bounces on the rim, and the league's idea of drama is whether someone wore mismatched socks during warm-ups. Technically, yes, it's fair, but nobody's tuning in for that. Here's where the spiral really gets bad. Attendance. That first season without Caitlin, whole sections of arenas will be empty, except for Engelbert's friends and a guy selling churros who's only there because it's his cousin's job. Season ticket holders will suddenly discover other hobbies, like watching paint dry or counting the ceiling tiles in their living rooms. The league will start handing out free tickets with every sandwich purchase just to get people in the door. And you know what the league office will do? They'll double down on the hype. We have a new face of the league, they'll say, while unveiling a player whose stats look like the scoreboard from a t-ball game. They'll put her on every poster, every promo, and every halftime interview, and within 2 weeks, fans will be asking if she's injured because they haven't seen her do anything in a game yet.
Fever basketball team has been hit with several blows, man, this whole season. Caitlin Clark went down early. You even had at one point Sophie Cunningham going down for a little bit. But one thing I can say is that a lot of these players like Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, Natasha Howard stayed the course. You know, when you want to make it to that next level, especially in the second half of the season, going to make an impact all throughout the league, you have to stay the course. And that's just...
Meanwhile, Caitlin's EuroLeague highlights will be going viral weekly. Step-back threes from the logo, no-look passes through traffic, buzzer beaters in sold-out arenas. The kind of stuff that makes you remember why you fell in love with basketball in the first place. And every time one of those clips drops, another layer of WNBA credibility peels away. It'll be like watching a sandcastle slowly collapse as the tide comes in. The media will have a field day. This isn't subtle, it's not complicated. You protect your stars, you build around them, and you definitely don't let them get so fed up that they start Googling best European cities for basketball. But here's the WNBA in a nutshell. They'll look at Caitlin's exit not as a failure, but as an opportunity to grow the game internationally. Translation, we can spin this into a marketing strategy so no one has to admit we messed up. They'll probably even send Engelbert to her first EuroLeague game just to film a clip about building bridges between leagues, and she'll smile into the camera like she wasn't the one holding the scissors that cut the bridge in half.
At this point, I think we all can agree that Caitlin Clark is going to be returning to action, but the question I have for all of you is, how many games do you think she needs under her belt going into playoff time for her to get into the swing of things? You want to see her play nothing in the regular season? First game back, she's in a series against the Phoenix Mercury. First game back, she's in a series against the Atlanta Dream. Do you want to see her play the 5 games remaining in the schedule? There's only 12 games left.
This is why fans are already saying it. If Clark's gone, they're gone. Cunningham's gone, Hull's gone. The last one to leave can turn off the lights, and while they're at it, maybe they can tape a little note to Engelbert's desk on the way out. It didn't have to be this way. Of course, the league will pretend they don't hear it. They'll keep pushing the narrative that everything's fine, everything's growing, everything's on track. But numbers don't lie. When the panic really hits, when the sponsors start pulling their money, when the networks start moving games to streaming-only channels nobody's heard of, then maybe someone will remember that all of this could have been avoided with 2 easy steps. Fire Engelbert. And the WNBA, they'll still be trying to convince you that their latest superstar is the next big thing. Spoiler, she's not, because the cold reality is this: you can market, hype, and spin all you want, but you can't fake greatness. And if you keep driving greatness away, don't be shocked when the only thing left is mediocrity wrapped in a glossy brochure.
Luana Bonner drama. We know that was a locker room situation, but guess what? They stayed the course. And that's what they got to do to make it to the WNBA championship. Ultimately, a lot of people have been boycotting for Caitlin Clark to not come back. With Ari McDonald down, Sydney Colson down, a lot of people feel like the depth isn't what it was. I feel like Caitlin Clark definitely need to come back. Sophie Cunningham, the way she's been balling, they'll be all right, man.
And when the inevitable State of the League press conference comes, it'll be a masterpiece of unintentional comedy. Engelbert will stand at the podium, smiling like she just won the lottery while the league burns behind her. She'll announce record-breaking engagement, while the only viral clip that week is Caitlin Clark dropping 40 in a EuroLeague playoff game for a team whose home arena sells better coffee than most WNBA venues. The halftime show, sponsored by a local car dealer, canceled because the dealer decided sponsoring a bowling league was a better investment. Meanwhile, fans will be at home watching Caitlin highlights from Europe, muttering to themselves about how this could have been avoided. But by then, the WNBA won't even be panicking anymore. They'll be numb. When the best thing that's happened to your league in decades is gone, all you can do is look around, sigh, and wish someone had listened when people started chanting, "Fire Engelbert, fire Adam Silver."